Kimberly only cut her finger, but was assaulted by the doctor with anesthetic. Kimberly wakes up and is acutely aware of the physical changes, but the doctor explains that it is a hallucination from the anesthetic. But the memory in her mind told her that it was not a hallucination. So she went to another hospital and underwent a detailed physical examination. The results showed that she did have someone else's DNA in her body, and Kimberly went to the police first. The police did not believe Kimberly's story. They followed the procedure and asked Kimberly to tell the story first, and Kimberly had to face the scars again. According to her, the first time she and the doctor met was at school, where she worked at a gas station but had worked hard to get into nursing school. She accidentally bumped into the doctor in the hallway, and the two of them became acquainted. She had great respect for the doctor and introduced her boyfriend Tom to him. That night, Tom came to the gas station to see her, and just as he leaned over to kiss her, she caught a glimpse of a strange woman sitting in Tom's car. She realized that Tom was cheating on her, and a confrontation broke out. During the fight, her palm was accidentally cut by glass, so she rushed to the hospital to treat the wound. The doctor took the initiative to receive her and took her to his private office, personally disinfected and bandaged. The doctor said that in order to avoid infection, also need a shot of tetanus. After that, what happened needless to say, but the police laughed at her accusations because the doctor is very well known in the local area. Not only the medical skills and often participate in charity events. Compared to the perfect doctor, Kimberly's reputation was not so good. She was a single mother who worked at the town's gas station and was often the talk of the men because of her good looks. The doctor had no motive to assault Kimberly, but Kimberly insisted on pressing charges against the doctor, and the police had no choice but to open a case to treat the wound. In the office, Kimberly was drunk and teasing him verbally. The implication is that she is single and wants to spend the night with the doctor. The doctor didn't want to argue with the alcoholic, so he gave her a sedative, after which Kimberly fell asleep, and the doctor's response was unconvincing. He doesn't understand why Kimberly is framing him. Is it because she's angry and wants to get back at him for failing to seduce him? The police sympathized with the doctor, but in accordance with the workflow, they had to take the doctor's blood sample for comparison. The doctor said he was willing to cooperate with the police, but now he still has work to do and will send the sample here on time after work. Before leaving, the police again reassured the doctor after he visited the doctor's colleagues. Colleagues also do not believe that the doctor would do such a thing, and Kimberly's reputation was not good among the employees at the gas station. She hit Tom for no reason and even smashed the merchandise on the shelves, so the police went back to question Tom. Tom was innocent. He said there was no strange woman in his car that day. His girlfriend suddenly lost her temper for some reason. The police then matched the DNA extracted from Kimberly's body with the blood provided by the doctor. The next morning, Kimberly confidently came to the police station. Kimberly was knocked unconscious by the doctor during her treatment, and when she woke up, male DNA was detected in her body. After calling the police took the doctor's blood and oxygen for comparison, and the results showed that they were not the same person. Kimberly walked into the office in disbelief and anger, believing that the police were covering up for the culprit, and asked for a new blood test in front of her, but was refused by the police. They thought the results were fine and that Kimberly was lying, but the fact is that the police did not follow the procedure and the doctor's sample could have been switched. At Kimberly's insistence, the police had to take the blood a second time. This time, in full view of the public, there is no possibility of falsification. The test results still show a mismatch. Kimberly became the target of a public outcry. The doctor pleaded with her in front of everyone to stop spreading rumors, and Kimberly became the target of everyone's accusations. The townspeople thought she was a vicious, slutty woman. They looked at her with contempt, and under great stress, she suffered from severe depression and had to be admitted to a mental hospital. The doctor continues to make a living in the town and has a new goal. After being discharged from the hospital, Kimberly decides to follow the psychiatrist's advice and move away from the town to start a new life. She has a new boyfriend and her life seems to be in order, but her boyfriend's seemingly joking comment reopens her scars. He doesn't understand Kimberly's nightmarish past. After all, it's not her first time, so it's a one-night stand and no one loses out. Why does she have to accuse? They had different ideas and had a big fight. Kimberly took her daughter and moved out. Maybe it's a child's way of saying things. She asked her mother why we had to move out. Kimberly was determined to make sure the doctor got what he deserved. She went back to the police station to ask for a reopening of the case, but it didn't go well. The police think she's being unreasonable. They won't grant her request unless new evidence comes to light. Not to be discouraged, Kimberly finds a private investigator to help her with her investigation, but the doctor is very alert and seems to notice that someone is following her. At the same time, she approaches the doctor's colleagues hoping to get a clue from them, because what happened to her is not an isolated case. There must be other victims. After struggling, her colleagues finally gave her a list of people who had been to the doctor, but had never come back. Kimberly followed the list and went to each of them, where she explained her intentions. The women were scared and kept their mouths shut about the doctor. Kimberly was having trouble with each of them. That's when things took a turn for the worse. The detective infiltrates the hospital under the guise of a doctor's visit and tries to get the doctor to talk to her. Although the doctor was very cautious, but the detective's purpose is not here. He took the opportunity to get the doctor's saliva envelope. The first time to take the test, unfortunately, the saliva was mixed with glue, so the results could not be obtained. Things get bottled up again, and Kimberly impulsively tries to break the doctor's car window to get a hair sample. But the detective stopped her. In order to avoid spooking him, he used a little trick to open the car door and found a doctor's used lipstick from inside. This time the test results finally matched and showed that it was the same person. Kimberly excitedly took the report to the police station. The doctor knocked out the beautiful patient and left evidence in her body. The DNA report proved that the culprit was the doctor, but the police did not open a case. It turns out that although the report can prove that Kimberly did not lie, but because it was obtained through illegal means, so it does not have legal effect, and it does not mean that the doctor committed a crime, but only to prove that the two did have a relationship. However, the police reopened the investigation and took the doctor to the police station. This time, there was a full video recording, and the police arranged for someone to take the blood himself. For insurance purposes, also took the tubes of blood. But once again, the match didn't match. Kimberly couldn't believe the results. She went after the doctor and asked him what kind of tricks he had played to get past the police. Kimberly was so upset when she watched the culprit leave. It's a shame he was so careless, perhaps because he had escaped justice several times in a row. The doctor got carried away. He still revealed his weaknesses. The same day, the police received a report from a girl who claimed to have been assaulted by a doctor in the hospital. The same encounter caused the police to be concerned about whether the doctor really had a problem. They first summoned the doctor, who at first denied it. The police searched his residence in order to ensure the accuracy of the test results. This time decided to extract the doctor's saliva and take the hair test, and finally collected the fingertip blood. Triple insurance is foolproof. The doctor's expression also became serious. Finally, the comparison results came out, and the two samples matched perfectly. Just when Kimberly thought the dust was finally settling, the doctor's lawyer came out against it. He said that even if the results showed that they did have sex, it did not prove that his client had committed a crime. The doctor failed to hold on to Kimberly's seduction and was falsely accused by Kimberly, a statement that seemed justified. An enraged Kimberly denounced the doctor's shamelessness in court, but also fell into the trap. Apparently they had a point. The jury was more willing to believe the doctor when the other side was cursing. Afterwards, the doctor swore in the name of God that he had never violated Kimberly, and the court was gradually tilted in victory. The police in turn asked the doctor why. Through the police search, a large number of plastic tubes and other people's blood were found in the doctor's home. The original doctor cut an opening in the arm beforehand, buried in a plastic tube filled with blood, so as to avoid the blood test. Hearing this, the jury was in an uproar. He still wanted to argue, but in the face of the evidence in front of him, his argument seemed very pale. In the end, the man was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Kimberly was relieved to hear the judge's verdict. She had been through a lot along the way, including discrimination and Tom's lack of understanding. It's as if the world thinks Kimberly was hurt, so she has to look at herself. When the wrongdoer is not duly punished, his mistake does not cause the punishment will continue to commit crimes, and the harm is other innocent girls. Suppose this girl is your relative, is your daughter, you will still stand by and do nothing. Only more people can come forward to change the environment and create a more harmonious and beautiful world for our future generations.